Hello, so today we're going to talk about our district writing assessment that we took last week. And if you're watching this video, then you've received a score of a 2 or a 1 on your essay, and we will review why. So here's the RUSD expository rubric. So this is how we grade your paper. So if you received a 2, that means it's very weak. You're a very weak writer. That'd be equivalent to receiving an F. If you received a 1, that means very weak and also an F. So if you received a 2 or 1, that's definitely not college-ready writing, or even high school at this point. And we'll review what the differences is. So we have response to topic. That's something that we check to see how you respond to what you're supposed to be writing about. So if you have a 2, you misunderstood or ignored key parts of the task. If you received a 1, you didn't understand the task or you're incapable of responding appropriately. So this is like you just did not get it. You have no idea what you're talking about. Second point, understanding and use of assigned reading. So if you received a 2, you show that you did not understand the assigned text and you didn't use the text to create an appropriate response. So again, using To Kill a Mockingbird or using the article with the 8th grade boy, using those to create an appropriate response. So you didn't demonstrate that. If it was 1, you don't understand the assigned text and you don't use the text to create a response. So you fully ignore it altogether. You're not even on topic. Quality and clarity of thought. So if you're 2, you're not focused on the topic and you don't communicate ideas in a way that could be understood. 1, writing's not focused. It's confusing. You're not able to understand it. So we had a lot of this going on. Some of you didn't even write about the topic at all. So organization development support. So your essay isn't organized and it doesn't contain any support whatsoever. So you didn't use anything from the text to support it. You just basically went off of your own ideas. The paper is not organized. It's not able to be understood. It contains no support at all. So you're probably like all over the place here. There's no rhyme or reason to what was going on. Syntax and command of language. So sentences are confusing, which make the piece hard to read and difficult to understand. If you received a 1, sentences are unreadable and the piece cannot be understood. Grammar usage and mechanics. So numerous errors in grammar. Spelling mechanics of writing which cause confusion. If it was a 1, your paper is largely misunderstood due to an amount of grammatical errors. So this is just like you're all over the place. So you make no sense at all. So now that we've reviewed the rubric and you have a little bit, hopefully a better understanding of how your paper was graded, we can move on. So let's review what was asked of you in the first place. So these are from, this information here is directly from that paper you had with you on the day of the test. So during the quarter, we have read several selections focused on the enduring understanding. Our individual identity and character determine how we contribute to society. We have also worked to construct answers to various essential questions. So basically it's just saying like, hey, you guys have this background information. You should at least, we've talked about different texts that talk about individual identity and character and how it allows somebody to contribute to society. You guys should know this. This is basically what this is telling you here. Writing prompt. So using 2 selections you have studied, write an argumentative essay where you support how our individual identity and character determine how we contribute to society. So using 2 selections, if you received a 1 or 2, either you only used 1 or you didn't use any at all. You didn't talk about what was going on at all. Your support of how your individual identity and character determine how we contribute to society. So this is really your thesis statement is built off of here. There's 3 parts to this. You have to talk about your individual identity. Number 2, your character. And number 3, how you contribute to society. So there's 3 parts to this thesis statement, which most of you with a score of a 1 or 2 didn't even touch it at all, or maybe only talked about 1 or 2 parts of that. So we have provided an excerpt below that you may include to support your claim. In addition to using textual evidence, your essay should contain a clear thesis statement, multiple paragraphs that pair your evidence with your thoughtful analysis. You may also bring in examples from your own experience, observation, and readings. So if you received a 1 or 2, you most likely didn't write more than 1 or 2 paragraphs. So there was no textual evidence, nothing from the actual text, the book, or the excerpt to support your argument. You didn't have a thesis statement. You didn't have multiple paragraphs. And you didn't bring in any personal experiences from you. You may have had your opinion, like I think or I thought or I feel, but that's not an experience unless you're able to say, this reminds me of the time when. So this is a lot of things that were left out of this paper that scored 1 or 2. So you have your overview of the essay. You guys all remember this. So this is telling you what should have been in each paragraph. Opening sentence, background information, and a thesis statement. Your 2 body paragraphs, the topic sentence, evidence or proof, textual evidence here, then your interpretation of the proof. And then your conclusion should have been your revisiting your thesis, a summary of both body paragraphs here, and then if you can't see this down here, it says final statement. So let's review a 1. So here's a 1 paper. So in my opinion, I believe that the teen parents are wrong. The teen parents shouldn't be saying stuff to the dad. They shouldn't be mad at him. I don't think his son should go back on the team just because of the parents. He should pursue what he wants. So this person only talked about the basketball boy. He's not even telling us why he's talking about the basketball boy. He didn't even talk about the thesis statement, let alone address the writing prompt of individual character and identity and contributing to society. None of that is touched on here, nor is Atticus or To Kill a Mockingbird mentioned in any way. So this is a 1 paper. This person wrote about food. So I don't provide this as a way to make fun of anybody or to put anybody down, but this is very common. This is a common problem that does happen. So I put here, this has nothing to do with the writing prompt. We have discussed the past 4 weeks in class. So again, if there's this much confusion, then that's when you ask for help and some intervention. So obviously, clearly this has nothing to do with the thesis, so it's showing that this person is incapable of writing an essay. The next number 1. So the 8th grade boy has been on the basketball team at his private school. Now rather than sports, he wants to play music and pursue girls. If not, blah, 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 blah. So he doesn't even... First of all, who's this 8th grade boy? He doesn't introduce the boy. He doesn't give us any insight as to what he's talking about or why he's even writing about this. There's no thesis statement. We can see that he starts talking about Atticus, but there seems to be a lot of confusion and disconnect. He had Atticus here, so maybe if he would have written more, I could see that maybe he demonstrated some idea of what was going on and he could have received a 2. But this, I went with a 1 because I can't really judge that off of the amount that was given to me. So this is almost equivalent to not writing anything at all. So here's a 2. So there's a lot of information here, but there's a lot of things. So there's no thesis statement in the article. What article? The boy. Who's the boy? So this person never introduces the boy. Doesn't talk about the article, which was the ethicist column in the New York Times. And what this person does is they just ended up retelling the whole story from the excerpt about the boy's issue and he wanted to pursue girls and not be on the basketball team. So he or she didn't write anything about the writing prompt addressing identity or character or contributing to society. They just retold the story. They just gave me a summary. Here they just talk about Randy Cohen from the article. Well, who is Randy Cohen? Why are you talking about him? Why is he important to this paper? So you can kind of see traces of them understanding to an extent of something that's supposed to be going on, but it doesn't quite make it. So this is why they received a 2. Possibly could have received a 1 if they would have written less. But yeah. So this is what a 2 looks like. Here's another 2. So I wrote here, you didn't talk about the character and identity of each character and how they contribute to society. So they started off good. So do you think of yourself and ask if I'm a burden to society or am I a good person in society? Well, let me tell you about a man named Atticus. So this is good attempt here to connect with the reader by asking questions, but then they just, let me tell you about Atticus Finch. Well, why? Why are you telling me about him? What does he have to do with society? So it's kind of off. There's no thesis statement at all. He's just talking about being a burden to society. He kept saying society, society, society over again. Why are we talking about society? Now, and that's in the first paragraph where he or she should be introducing the topic. But right away, it's like he talks about Atticus here. He starts talking about the basketball boy here, and that's it. So this paper lacks organization. It lacks focus. There's no structure. The only reason they received a 2 because I could see that they're talking about both sides of the argument here, but it's just a very unorganized manner. Here's another 2. So the father's son is in 8th grade. He plays basketball. He plays basketball in small pirate school, rather. So basketball, put it on a team, basketball, all basketball. No thesis statement. No talking about character, identity, contribute to society. There's nothing about Atticus Finch comparing and contrasting to anything. He just basically retold the whole story and then some, kind of gave their own little spin on it. So I gave it 2 just because of the length. And they do try to go a little in depth, although they fail to do so. So I can see that they're trying to engage here. So basically 2 more so for effort, not necessarily that they have a better understanding over a 1. So these are our examples of a 1 and a 2. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to have you guys jump over to Google Classroom. And this is your assignment that you're going to do. So this is essay writing reflection. So review your essay and your essay score, which you'll write right here. Answer the following questions in regard to the essay that you wrote. Answer in complete sentences, not just a yes or no answer. This will help you gain a true reflection of your writing and the areas you need to improve. So the reason why I'm doing this through a screencast versus like a whole class lecture is just because all of you guys placed differently, and I wanted you to really just get a focus on where you stand as a 1 or a 2 writer. So again, how many paragraphs do you have in your essay? So count how many. Even if it's just 1, you write that down. Things like, in paragraph number 1, do I have an introductory first sentence? A question, in fact, bold statement. Don't put yes or no. Put, yes, I do have an introductory first sentence. I try to engage my reader by including a question, or starting with a fact, or a bold statement. Don't just put no, or yes. Tell me what you did, or no, I didn't use a question or a fact. Maybe I should next time. In paragraph number 1, do I provide background information on my topic for my reader? Or do I just assume they know what I'm talking about and jump right in? So again, you have to talk about that. Like, no, I didn't do this. And I can see now that where I'm lacking, what I should have added in here. Or, yes, I did start off talking this way and maybe I got off topic. So these are the types of responses I want to see here. You guys should be having like 1 to 2 sentence responses here or more. Again, if you just answer yes or no, then you're not gaining a very true reflection of your writing and your issues that you're struggling with when it comes to writing an essay. So remember, you need to take this seriously because this is, essay writing is not going away. I mean, you still have at least 4 more years of high school to do essay writing, and those of you that you may end up in college. But even if you're not going to write essays and you're not going to go to college, you still need to know how to write in a logical sense and in some type of organized manner. Because if you can't, then you probably won't be able to function even just in a basic job setting or be able to communicate effectively to maybe the manager of a store or a boss or your, in the future, your child's teacher or something like that. So it's just good practice just so you can get your organization down, not even necessarily an essay focus. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and I will come swing by your desk and we can talk. But just know that we will address these issues in greater detail in the upcoming weeks because I want you guys to really be able to grow with your essay writing, and hopefully the next time we take our district writing assessment in May, that you guys will score a 3 or a 4 versus a 1 or a 2. Okay? Hope this helps. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or send me an email or drop by my desk. I'll be happy to help you.